Hello and welcome to the Work for Change podcast. It's your boy Jean, spelled like Gene.
And your boy John with a silent H. Welcome to episode 124 of the Work for Change podcast.
And you know what this is? It's just a good old-fashioned brocast.
It is. It's been a while.
It has been.
Has it?
Was
Sam
been,
on the one
yeah.
before this?
Yeah. So there's been a couple Glodcasts.
Yeah.
But a brocast.
Mm-hmm. Back to the roots.
Back to the roots. Remember when we used to do this like every week?
Yeah.
Just me and you talk about stuff?
Mm-hmm.
And then we started
How stupid of us.
And then we tried to get guests and stuff, and then we talked to a lot of cool people.
We did.
You're
making it sound like
it sounds like this is, yeah, it's not ending. It's not ending. It's just the format has changed a little.
Mm-hmm.
Life has changed a little. You know what I mean? You've decided that you like extremely bright clothes.
Yeah. Yeah, I wear... So, it's funny that you bring that up.
I'm wearing gray and black.
He's
wearing tie-dye, neon green, neon pink.
Yeah, and have blue hair.
And you have, and you have blue hair.
So it's funny that you bring that up because I was actually talking about this on my stream today.
Well, you were also like posting about it.
Was I?
You said something along the lines of like,
when
people ask me about my style.
I'm going to say I'm wearing whatever I want, which is true, and that's exactly how I feel. But it was funny because I was talking about this on stream. My producer, Rachel, she brings up a lot of like ideas for me for videos, and she brought up one that I'm not going to end up doing just because I didn't have enough to say about it. But it was this woman like made this video where she was kind of talking about how she's treated differently after like she used to be skinnier and she like gained some weight because she was dealing with some ED stuff in the past, which is eating disorder. And she was talking about how she was like treated differently, and I was like, it's funny because I have noticed that I get treated differently here because where we live is very conservative.
Like in this house?
No. Well, yes, I do get treated differently. I do. Sam's mean to me now. No, she actually doesn't like the blue hair, but she likes it more than the man bun.
Yeah.
She likes very simple things. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, that's why she likes me.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. You're never going to do anything like that.
No.
You got a tattoo, though.
I'm a simple boy.
Yeah. We already talked about that.
I'm going to get more, too.
I'm sure you are.
Yeah.
And so... But like where we live in San Diego, so it's funny because San Diego in general is actually a lot more conservative, or it's more conservative than the rest of California.
Yeah.
Like that's like a...
San Diego is a conservative pocket.
Yeah, yes. It is. And then where we live...
East County.
In East County is even more so, right?
Yeah.
And so I've noticed that like before I looked like a very standard white dude, right? Like nothing crazy. Now... since I dyed my hair blue, I just have noticed that people look at me differently. You know, and so I just thought that was, I thought it's been kind of funny. But so when you were talking about like the whole style thing, it's actually like I've always been someone. I'm not sure if you've been able to pick this up, but I've always like been someone that like I've always been very jealous. Jealous isn't a word, but I've always been very like. I've always thought it was really cool when people you look at them and you're like, they have a style, right?
Yeah.
So my friend Jordan, she is goth, right? That's like her style. You look at her and you're like, that's a goth person, right?
Yeah.
Or like, it doesn't even have to be like a label thing, but it's like they have a very specific style. Like my friend Russ, right? Russ Swall, like you look at him and you can tell like he has a very specific style. At least I can, right? And so it's been nice kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say like finding my style, but like just kind of embracing and just doing whatever I want and not really worrying too much about it. You know, like I think when people look at me now, they might, whatever it's good or bad, I think people are like, oh, that guy has some sort of style. Or like, you know, I'm not saying good style, but just like he has a certain thing. And so I think like, I don't know, this is very random, but like, yeah, I've been like inspired by kind of like, I've been listening to a lot of pop punk again, and what I like to do a lot of times on my longer bike rides, where I'm just like in here in the garage by myself, is I like to watch like live shows, right? And so I've kind of been inspired by watching, because like when people perform, they wear like pretty over the top stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so I've been inspired by watching these live shows of these pop punk bands. I don't know. I know you didn't ask any of that, but
no. What would you say? What would you say your style is?
I would say
like, or what would you hope? What would you hope if someone looked at you and they went, "Oh, that's probably blah blah blah."
Like pop punk, I guess. Like right. Punk, you know, like
how pop punk has changed.
Yeah, no, it has 100%. Like
because when I think pop punk, I think black Dickies, white tall socks, skate shoes. chain on your wallet, loose, baggy, black T-shirt. You know what I mean? Like pop punk or like checkered belt. You know what I mean? Like
I
that.
would, yeah.
That when I hear pop punk.
Yeah. For me, it's more I could care less what people. I couldn't care less. Whatever it is, I couldn't
not
care less. Couldn't care less what people like if they associate whatever. For me, it's just if someone sees me and they're like, that guy has a style. That's all that matters to me.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I've never had that because I think for a long time I've always been kind of afraid to really embrace anything.
Yeah.
Because I don't want, I don't want people to think you're weird or it's a little over the top. And I think like as silly as it might sound, as maybe as simple as it might be, like dyeing my hair has really just made me be like, well, people are going to think stuff of me now regardless of whatever I do. So might as well just embrace it.
Yeah.
That's kind of what's going through my head, I guess.
I feel like I've always tried to go for like the edgy is the wrong word, but like the hardcore kid. Even like when a former hardcore kid tries to adapt into like corporate society, they're still wearing slim fit T-shirts, skinny ties. You know what I mean? There's always like, it's really hard to break from that like hardcore phase. And I feel like I've always like tried to maintain like, even if I'm working at a church, even if I'm doing this, like there's like, oh, there's a evidence of like, probably listens to hardcore music, or he probably listens to, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I feel like I've always tried to do that, and I've never successfully done it.
I was going to say, do you feel like you've been successful in that?
No, and that's, I think part of it's like, like, first of all, I genuinely enjoy tattoos. I've always put them in places that were easily hidden, and it's like, this one was like, my wrist one was a big one where it was like, this is like, or not wrist.
It's not your wrist, my friend.
My forearm one was a big one where it's like, I've been this person since 14 years old. You know what I mean? Like 15 years old. Like I've been this person. It's been 16 years. I've spent more of my life identifying in this way than I haven't. And so it's like, now I'm feeling like, okay, you know what? Who cares? Like this is, so, but mine's a lot more minimalistic. It's like, grays, navy greens, olive greens, navy blues, maroon reds. You know what I mean? Like those subdued colors. Those have always been the ones that I'm more of a fan of. Whereas you were literally the exact opposite.
I think for me, to be fair, like my job is this stuff, right? Like I stand in front of a camera, so I can do whatever I want. I could go get a face piercing. I could get a face tattoo if I wanted to, and not planning on it, but like I can do all those things and not worry about anything.
How's your neck tattoo healing though?
It's great. It's a joke. But like I can do all that and not worry about it, right?
Yeah.
And so I understand that. So that's why I'm not like someone that's like, go out and do all this stuff. Like I understand it's harder. It is interesting to me that having colored hair, especially as a dude, I think even more so, but like just in general, having colored hair, people see that as unprofessional.
Okay, so that is an interesting question. I'm going to follow up with a question on that. What is professional?
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like,
what? No. Okay, so now, what would you say the typical professional look is?
I mean, it has changed over time.
Agree with it or don't agree with it? What would you say?
I guess like not super visible tattoo, so nothing on the hands or the neck or above, right? So stuff you can cover up with like a dress shirt. Hair that is relatively well kempt. I'm thinking about a guy, so relatively well kempt, not any crazy colors, and your clothes are relatively clean, and like. I would say that's like the most standard thing. Yeah. And no face tattoos or no face piercings, other than maybe your ears for a guy. And I would say that's like main thing. No weird, like you can't have any weird like contacts that make your eyes red or something like that, obviously. So
the things you were describing, I read an article or something about this once. You've just described a soldier in uniform. In their formal attire. You know what I mean? Clean cut hair, well kempt facial hair, if any, like a mustache.
Yeah, facial hair. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Like no visible tattoos.
Yeah, because it was our friend Mike. He can have a mustache, but that's it, right? Can't have a beard.
Yeah, and it can't cross his lip line.
Okay.
Like it can't go further than his lip. And so I was like, this thing I was reading. It was talking about how during World War II, so many people were drafted, went to war, all this stuff, and there was a specific look you had to hit. And then these people come back, you know, they have kids, baby boomer age, and their parents are telling them, this is the way you dress as a man going into the business world. This is how you look. And it's like we've been fighting, or not fighting, but we've now been kind of pushing against, like, why is this the way you look? Because if you look at any of the old generals of the war, they have crazy mustaches. They have really long beards.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, like if you think about like the Civil War, even like before that, right?
The mutton chops. Yeah, like there were very expressive ways of kind of, and this, I mean, I don't know if most of those pictures are black and white. They probably didn't have hair dye. You know what I mean? But like
they had pink beards or something.
Yeah, but it was like there
who
was. Who
knows? Maybe if they could have then back then, they might have.
Yeah, and so it's like these Civil War soldiers and stuff. These people like. And I imagine, like, in Greece and in Rome and in old, like, Napoleonic France and stuff, there were some pretty expressive ways of showing your business or you're successful or you're whatever. We've just come to define business appropriate attire as the standard American uniform, soldier's uniform or whatever, because of the way because of World War II and all that stuff. And so the article was super interesting because it's like you look at formal in the past and there was a lot more expression in your facial hair and all that stuff. But then it became very like G.I. Joe look, you know?
It's interesting. I mean, it makes sense. There's a reason for everything, right? Every action has an equal and opposite reaction kind of thing. Like, it makes sense. Like, it's not that surprising. I think it's just...
And it's not inherently bad. It's not bad at all. You know what I mean? There was a crazy time in the world where you were trying to say, I'm not a bad guy. Like, it literally was like, there's good guys and there's bad guys, and they're warring against each other. And it happened twice in 30 years. And so there was like this, here's what the good guys look like kind of thing. And so it's not like it's not inherently, I'm saying, like, well, the military uniform or dress code has caused problems in a society. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying, without any moral weight on it, that has been the result of what has happened.
Yeah. It's interesting. This is kind of a side tangent, but I've been thinking a lot about like history and how we learn about history. And it's just interesting because no matter like when I was in school, you think that you're learning history from an objective point of view, right? Like, this is what actually happened. But in reality, like, there is always some sort of bias that is being placed on the history that you learn, you know? And so I've always thought, I don't want to say I've always thought, but this past like year and a half, I've been giving more thought into like, what have we, like, there's a lot of stuff that you miss out on, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to even American history, like, that you don't learn about, that I know things were skipped over here, at least in Southern California, what you learn. And it's just crazy because even in America, the difference of what you learn, like even in the South, they learned recently they were learning totally different stuff about like the Civil War and why things happened. I don't know. It's just very interesting because like I remember growing up, you think, oh, I'm learning history from a history teacher and they're telling me what exactly what happened. And they might even believe that this is what happened. But again, they learned you know what I mean? It's just interesting.
Yeah, that is, I mean, you hear the saying, history is written by the winner.
It's true, yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's like, I don't know where to, I don't know. There are some things where it's like, I don't even know how to compartmentalize it yet. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, okay, well.
Well, it's because then it changes your perception of the world, I think, and that's really hard to like grasp. Like, it changes how you have the way you thought since you were a kid. Like, whatever it might be, like why we went into the Civil War or why we went into World War II, like learning those little, I don't want to get into all that because there's people that disagree, but like, you know, I was taught a very like, this is why we went in. And like, the more I'm learning, I'm like, oh, that maybe isn't exactly why. There were some other agendas that happened. And it's just like, I don't know. It's just crazy, you know? Like, it doesn't really matter much for me in a day-to-day life. No, not really. But it's just a very interesting thing to think about.
Interesting in the sense that you like to have no firm foundation in which you set your footing on, and then just like to fall into a random abyss of uncertainty.
I think not really, but the thing that's really cool with
existentialism in philosophy was literally my least favorite thing in the entire world.
Really?
Because it would be like, that's green. No, it's not.
Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah,
annoying. Like I don't think that's necessary because like that just is
Because then that's where it boils down all the way to, well, I think, therefore I am.
Yeah, are there any objectable truths and anything like that, right? Which like I've been looking into that a little bit. I don't think that's necessary, but I think learning
I couldn't stand it.
Yeah, but like learning more about just in like big historical events have been interesting to me, and being like, oh, okay, well, what I was taught maybe wasn't exactly the truth, and like there might be many reasons. I was very young, you're in 6th grade, of course I'm not going to go, but so I don't know how we got to this tangent.
What do you think about the moon landing, and why don't you think it happened?
Well, it was all fake, obviously.
I have no clue. I don't. Here's one
conspiracies. The thing that's frustrating
down.
about conspiracies is that like the people that believe them want to believe them, so they will like it's what was it like? I was watching something where they were like. Prove that it's not real. And it's like, that's not really a good way. Like, you can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, prove it's not real. It's like, because you... Okay, sorry. What were you saying?
One rabbit hole I tried to go down, but, like, was the, like, flat Earth. Okay?
Why did you try to go down that rabbit hole?
I wanted to know why...
People think the Earth is round.
Yeah. How could they be so dumb to think the Earth is round?
Have they ever rolled a ball?
Spherical.
Okay, it didn't fall off the...
But I wanted to know the hard evidence behind why do you think the world is flat? Like, honestly, why? And it was like, I kept trying to, like, put myself in the mindset of, okay, I'm going to keep my mind open. The Earth could be flat. Convince me why. And like it mainly was people who were hurt by basically what you were talking about, objective not objective truth, but they were hurt by things sold to them as objective truth. And so then they went like, oh, well, you weren't lying to me about that.
Yeah.
And it was like that kind of was the majority of the people who were like interviewed or making videos or whatever. It was like, well, they lied to you about this.
Why wouldn't they lie to you?
And it was like, and so that's like such an easy thing to where you go like, well, I mean, everything's fake. This is all fake. This is fake. This is fake. This is fake. So why isn't that fake? And you kind of go, oh, well, I guess, yeah. Why isn't it fake? And I was like, so then it becomes less of, well, why do you believe this? And more, well, why wouldn't I? Like, why shouldn't I believe that? And then it's like, it's kind of hard to talk to someone when they have the mindset of like, well, why shouldn't I? Or why shouldn't I? It's like, I mean, I guess like do what you want, but I think whatever.
So to bring this back to fitness,
this
is why people get into CrossFit, because they're like,
yeah, why shouldn't I?
You've told me that bodybuilding is the best way, but
so I can't do a pull-up, but if I sign up and the workout has bar muscle-ups, I can try. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Speaking of CrossFit. I've got a pretty cool change.
Yeah, you have an actual announcement, and it's actually about fitness. So let's actually talk about that. I don't know how we got to the rabbit hole that we got into.
I don't know. We talked about your blue hair. See, this is why we can't let guys have blue hair.
Exactly.
Because
then they start to
society
believe the Earth is flat.
falls into chaos.
It's true.
I am now the general manager of my gym, CrossFit Flashbang. That is the announcement. That's the big one, and it's pretty exciting.
Is there more stuff you want to share? Or?
That's pretty much it.
Okay.
In the sense of last time we announced last podcast.
I'm sorry, I keep getting distracted because there's a couple that is going around and around and around on a street on scooters, and every 30 seconds they're just going by, and I'm like, how is that fun?
Yeah.
In a circle. Okay, I'm sorry.
Should we just close the group?
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's not that big of a deal. It's just funny that I'm like, it's like, where are you guys?
they want to get a live,
I guess, so.
Listening of the podcast.
Like, is that the Work for Change podcast?
Yeah. I have had one person recognize me in the wild for the Work for Change podcast.
Really?
Yeah.
Where was it at?
It was at FitCon in Salt Lake City. I was wearing a Work for Change shirt, and I'm just walking, minding my own business. and someone passing by goes, "Love that podcast," like that. And Big Mike, we were with Big Mike. He goes, "That's John from the podcast, like Gene." And they're like, "No way!" Yeah. And then we ended up taking a picture.
That's so funny.
Like, so once in the wild, just based off the podcast.
We're pretty famous.
Yeah, I know. What can I say? Go to Salt Lake City and someone knows me. So I recently became the general manager. Are you asking if you can start cooking now? My wife just walked into the garage in which we were recording just to look at us. You can start the enchiladas now. Okay. Home life.
You can start the enchiladas now.
She asked me when to let her know to start the enchiladas.
I'll allow it. See, I wasn't lying.
Go, yeah.
I told you.
They got brake lights and everything, man.
I know, they're killing it.
So I'm the general manager of CrossFit Flashbang. This is very cool. It happened not on purpose. The last time we were on the podcast, we talked about how I started this new gym, and I was talking about the Shipathesius and how one thing can say it's one thing, but can be something completely different, essentially. And so when I now my dog wants pets. When I joined CrossFit Flashbang, there was no intent or purpose to do this. It was just, hey, I feel like this is the next step for me. Me and the owner have met multiple times, and we just kind of feel like he agrees with my heart and vision in fitness and faith and family and how all these things fit together. And he, is in alignment with that. And so he was just like, hey, like, I feel like I've taken this gym as far as I can. I really would love to have you on the team to help bring it. He knows that I eventually want to start my own gym. And so he's like, instead of going out blind and starting your own gym and hoping for the best, like, what if you get some real experience managing a gym, day in, day out stuff, without the worry of a member leaving and now you make less money, or, you know what I mean? Yeah. He's like, you'll get a set paycheck, set salary. You'll work this many things and you'll get these things done.
And so this is, we've known about this for a while. So that's a big reason why we've switched to twice a month instead of every week.
Yeah,
actually.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it was just like,
knew, I was like, John, it was actually my idea. It was.
Yeah.
I was like, Jean is much busier than I am as far as like,
I still have my full-time job.
Yeah, you have a child
and my child and my wife. Yeah.
I just kind of hang out with Bailey.
Yeah. You are a child.
Yeah. But like you have all these things that require hours of your time where you can't do other things, right? Like everything I do, I can like kind of multitask. And, okay, sorry. But yeah. Yeah.
So, for example, like today was I do not want this to be in a complaint fest of how busy I am at all. But it's like today was wake up, coach 6, coach 7, be at work by 8:30
a.m.
Yeah. Coach 6, coach 7 a.m., be at work by 8:30 a.m. Be at work until about 3:30. Go, and then I coached 4, 5, and 6 p.m. Got home, showered by like 7:30, and then we started doing this podcast. So it's just like doing that every week would have been a burn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like
and like the goal is to not do this on Mondays, but we tried to get people to interview and things fell through. So
yeah. So with that being said, this is why formats have changed a little bit. There's going to be a week where John David's probably interviewing someone. I'm going to try to get some where it's like, if I can interview this person on my time, great. We're going to get an interview in, and that'll be one of the like it'll still be us, but that's why the format changed, because this next season is just a little busy. But like this is the season of life where I find myself. Like I am in a building stage, and I recognize that. Like, and in this building stage of my life, it is to get to a point to set my family up. And I want to honor that and give that as much time as I can, instead of kind of like half effort everywhere, So yeah, that's a pretty big announcement,
Yeah, it's interesting because like your life is changing so much in these certain ways, and then my life is also changing in like certain ways.
Yeah.
And so it's just been, I don't know, it's been like interesting. Like for me, like I've had, and like we've had conversations about this, like with faith and stuff like that, which I think is interesting. That like this is something I've been kind of wanting to talk about on the podcast for a while. Is like for me, I've definitely had my belief and stuff like that shaken quite a bit, in just like what I believe as far as like, again, objectionable truths and the church and how I identify myself as and stuff like that. And it's been very interesting because, you know, we've had these like we've had these forks in the road, and I feel like we've kind of gone in different ways. And that doesn't mean like we've like grown apart or like separated, but like we are taking different paths. I don't know. I just think that it's interesting. Mm-hmm. But even with that, we're still able to have good conversations and, you know, share our opinions and stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I've definitely come to realize how much I hate you. And so it's just,
yeah.
No. Yeah. I mean, and I think like you and I, like we had a conversation. People in your Q&As and my Q&As ask, have you talked to your brother about the faith?
Yeah.
And it's like, both of us. It's literally the same question. Have you talked to your brother about faith? Blah, blah. And so it's like we've had our conversations and we've had candid conversations about it. And like, I think the big thing is just like, and that's what I kind of expressed with you is like, when you separate yourself from a person or a people or a belief system, it's really easy to like characterize them, you know, make them a caricature. Yeah, caricature.
Jeez.
Caricature. And so, like, my big thing, like, wanting to have this conversation with you. You trying to remember how to use this camera? Pivoting our recording screen. It's still recording. Nice. Got it?
Yeah.
Cool.
I was trying to be smooth, but
yeah.
whatever.
And then you decided to go around the light, which is probably what.
Yeah, whatever. Oh,
well. So, and I think this is important for like anyone, and no matter what they believe, in any belief system. When let's say you learn about a group of people, but you never talk to someone from this group of people. It is way easier to turn them into this like super shallow shell of what they really are. And then so like that they become a caricature. So I think the value of like having conversations, and again, I'm very open with you. I don't like shy away from the hard questions regarding faith or anything like that. I hope for you, what you see is not me, someone who's like, the example of the just nationalistic Republican Christian who you've seen on the news.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want, like, I hope you don't see that in my life, right? I'm really wrestling with a lot of the questions of what is the church? I will
say, like, I was a little concerned when you got the Trump tattoo on your lower back.
Yeah. Let's not be confused. It's not the word Trump. It's literally a picture of Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what it's called, right?
The Trump stamp?
There you go.
Is that a thing?
No, I just made it up.
Right. That was good. That was good. High fives. But like even for me, like wrestling with the idea of like, what does it mean to be a vocal Christian in a society in which Republican Christian has come to mean a very specific, angry thing.
You can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. That's the way I see it.
Yeah.
You know?
And so it's like, how do I express my faith in a way that it isn't that, but they are very willing to be like, no, that's us. We're them. And it's like, no, that's not that. Like, no, yeah, it is. Yep. And we vote this way all the time. And we vote for this person all the time.
Yeah.
Because that's what our God has told us to do. And it's like, so like I've wrestled with those questions as well. I just think, you know.
I think maybe, I mean, let's just be real. I think maybe you were stronger in your faith than I was when you wrestled with those. And I think for me, when I struggled with that, I don't know. I don't want to like because I don't want to like share or speak too much.
Yeah, I got you.
Because like
this is a public thing.
Well, yeah. Well, and I don't want to get you in like trouble or I don't know.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's just like I think a big part
Are you
was
talking about the affair I had.
was that that's not. You can't joke about that. I mean, like, you still work at a church.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yes, I
and
do.
so I don't want to like put you in jeopardy by my sharing my opinions, which maybe isn't fair. But like I don't know. I'm not trying to get you in trouble.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was just hard to like.
I don't know where you're going with that, but I will honor it.
So what I'm trying to say is like I didn't want to be around a lot of people that thought that way.
Yeah.
And.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. We are a church in East County. That we just talked about how East County views.
Yeah. And so I noticed.
Regardless of if the staff actually believes that.
Yeah.
We are a church in East County.
Yeah. Okay. So hopefully people understand what we're trying to say here.
Yeah.
I noticed, I remember I went back after like, it was like one of the first weeks the mask mandate was lifted. It was actually it wasn't lifted, but you could go back to church, and then it was like the whole like, oh, they shut it back down again and blah, 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 right? But I went back and I just noticed there are a lot of people here that really disagree with probably how I feel. Mm-hmm. And for me, that just did not sit right, you know? And so it was really hard. Like, I mean, I've wrestled, and I still am. I'm not saying that I have answers at all. But like for me, growing up for my whole life, feeling like, you know, being told that these are things that are true, and then questioning them for the first time has been a big thing for me, you know, and it's really made me, like I personally haven't changed much as a person, but like my thought processes and maybe how I see other people in good and maybe bad ways has changed. And so it's been interesting doing that with a social platform, right? Like I have a lot of people that are, which is really nice, that are very supportive and they're very happy for me. But I also have a lot of people that are very upset with me.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my God, like I used to love what you stand for. And now you stand for XYZ thing when maybe I don't even stand for that.
To be clear, I do not condone that usage of the word God.
So wait, what did I say?
You just said, oh my God.
Oh,
but I was,
oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, so it's just that obviously is a huge part because like those people that you're talking about, the nationalistic Christians, I think is the word you've used. Like they're very vocal.
Fundamental nationalism, Christian nationalism, Christian fundamental nationalism, or something like that.
It's you know who we're talking about. You know, it's like very close to the Westboro Baptist Church, I think. You know, and so it's like those people are obviously very vocal, and I hear from them a lot, and they have many things to say about what I do and how I do things. And I'm a human, so it's hard for me to disconnect that from other people. Yeah. You know? And it's like, and then I've had conversations with people, and I've been a jerk, and I've been mean, and I've definitely not been the best to deal with, especially with like people I grew up with, like on Facebook and stuff, like because a lot of my friends in quotes on Facebook are people that I knew from the previous church we went to, and they definitely are in that camp. And I have had nasty conversations with them, and that doesn't really do anything. But then that further makes me feel a certain way, right? Yeah. Like everyone must think this, which I know isn't true. And so it's been interesting because I mean I know I have you and Sam who definitely don't think that way, and so it's like I know that that's not everybody, but even with that. Yeah. It's still hard for me to be like, how many people think the way that John does?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I do think it's more than you expect. I think all the churches we went to growing up, you know what I mean, definitely had a specific agenda. And also, same on the complete other side, the extremes is the loudest.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I know that for sure.
Yeah,
like it's just crazy because like one of the churches we grew up going to literally would have political candidates come on stage and they would say vote for him. Yeah, that's crazy, right? Like that can't. That's wild.
Yeah, yep. And you don't think anything about it then?
Yeah, I didn't. I was like, oh yeah, of course,
yeah.
That's who I should vote for because they believe the same thing I do. Yeah. You know, I mean, I couldn't vote at the time. I was in junior high, but like still, I zero thoughts about it at all.
Yeah. Now it's very foreign now. It'd be very weird now.
It'd be so weird.
Yeah.
But they still do it.
Yeah.
But whatever. That's fine.
Yeah. But that's just, that was when we attended Westboro.
No, no, dude. That church or cult or whatever you want to call it is crazy. It's wild.
Yeah. Okay, so since we've already decided to talk about religion, let's just talk about politics.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm kidding. I don't.
Oh, okay.
I'm so far out of politics. I don't know anything about them. I literally don't know anything about them. But I do know that I am the general manager of a gym.
So how has that been? Let's pivot away from this heavy
let's
topic.
come back.
So what does that mean day to day, and how? Because I know that today was like the day that we're recording this was actually when you guys announced it to the people.
Yeah.
But what has that meant? Because I know you've pretty much been doing it already.
Anyways. Yeah. So it was taking on a majority of the classes, in the mornings and in the evenings. It was creating the schedule for the other coaches. We have 2, 3. Sam is a coach there. That's another thing. She's getting her level 1 to become a coach. So she'll be coaching and helping and assisting in just while she's on her maternity leave and maybe, some before work or whatever, after work, whatever she can do.
Kids.
Yeah. CrossFit Kids, help out with that. So with the coaches we have, we're trying to figure out.
How many members are there right now? Do you know?
We are we're building we're in the 80s, I think. But we're gonna build. That's what we're doing.
I know that. I'm just kind of curious.
Yep. So with the coaches that we have now, it's making the best schedule for them so that they don't feel like they're getting burnt out. That's very big to me. So I've gone through like 4 revisions of the weekly schedule, and we're almost there. We're almost done. So making the schedule, driving business, which is going to be things like engaging content on social media, making sure all the coaches understand what the focus of the workout is. We buy our programming from another company called Level Method. So I'm the one who's like digging deep into the weeds of like, why did they program this? What are they going for? What's the best stimulus for the members? And make sure I portray that to the coaches. Making sure that merch is in, that our vending machine has drinks and stuff in it. It's just literally like those day-to-day things that make a gym run. Are the things that I'm kind of overseeing. But the owners are still very much a part of it. It's not like they're like, cool, finally someone's taking care of this out. But they're more looking at the vision pieces. One of the owner's wife, I think they own it together. So Alyssa, she kind of manages the facilities and maintenance, making sure things are clean, make sure broken things get fixed, kind of stuff like that. And then Donald Trump, he
it's the best gym. Bigly the best.
No other gym is better than this gym. But he kind of is like the vision caster, direction we want to go, kind of stuff like that. Like he'll lay a vision, then I have to lay the steps.
Like he'll be like, "This is what we want to do," and you're like, "All right, let me build the path to it."
Yeah. So that's kind of the layout right now. Again, We've been talking about it for about a month. Yeah, maybe a little longer, but it's been official just for a couple of days. And we just announced to the gym today.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's fun, but like I said, like I'm expecting this is a building stage. So I know things are going to be busy, but it's just a season. It is not my intention to be doing, I'm not trying to kill myself and have my family left in the wake. Like, I want to honor my family and figure out a way to do that. So
So I guess like the biggest thing for me is the triathlon is coming up now.
Yeah.
So I think by the time the next one comes out, I'll be done. I would have done the triathlon. So this is the last episode before then. So we are officially like on the taper. So yesterday was my last hard session. So it was like a really hard run. And now it's like it was like she had it written as like a rest day, but I went to the gym and like lifted. But like today I didn't swim this evening. I'll be swimming tomorrow. So I'm really excited. It's like the amount of training that I've done is so much more than is necessary for the triathlon that I'm doing, right? Like I'm just doing a sprint.
But you're getting ready for the next one.
Yeah, my goal was to do a longer distance, and that got canceled. It's been canceled a few times, but I think the one that I'm planning on doing in October is actually going to happen. So that's like it's an international distance, very close to an Olympic distance triathlon. So it's basically double the distance that I'm going to be doing on the 11th here. So like it's interesting because like my goal is to do well. Like, is my goal to podium? Not really. Like, you never know who's going to show up. And, like, I don't think that I'm not built for triathlons. I'm big. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm never going, like, I don't see, unless maybe I'm, like, vastly don't know what my potential is. I feel like I'm a pretty realistic person. And, like, me running 6-minute miles off of a 16-mile bike, I just don't see that happening. And like I know that if you're going to be winning sprint distance triathlons, like that's what you need to be doing, you know, or if not faster. And that your boy ain't doing that, you know. But like I do think that I can finish with a pretty good time and like not be like, oh, okay, well you did it, you know. And so like that's the goal that I have. And I feel like I've never trained for something like I've trained for this. Yeah. Like with the pointed, I've just never have. Yeah. And so I'm excited. It's going to be a little bit different because I'm not going to be flying with my bike so the triathlon I'm doing is in Texas. And so
is the main reason you're doing it kind of to connect with the BPN team?
Yeah. So I'm going to Austin. I'm going to be there for a week. And so the triathlon's like kind of in the middle of it. So I'll be like hanging out with the BPN team before. I'll drive up to Waco with my coach and we'll be there for I think 2 days. The day before and the day of the triathlon, and then I'm going to come back and then hang out with the BPN team as well. That's kind of why that was one of the big reasons why I decided to do it in Texas, and I could connect with my actual coach, and we can like do in-person lessons, which I think will be very helpful, like especially swimming. Yeah, which the swimming has improved a lot.
It was really smart to choose one in July in Texas too, because I don't think it's like hot there. Or anything,
it won't be hot or anything. Hey, it's a challenge, you know. Yeah. It's gonna be hard. Like it's gonna be tough, right? Especially because I'm planning on pushing myself very hard. Like I want to push myself hard and like feel like I emptied the tank, right? So like regardless, like yes, it's not a long distance, and it'll hopefully, you know, it shouldn't even take 2 hours if you know what I mean, or around that time amount of time. So it's not like it's a crazy long event. But the swimming has been getting better. Like it's just crazy because I remember when I first started, I couldn't even do one length. It was just 25 meters or 25 yards, whatever you use, whatever pool you're in, I think. And so now I'm doing like some of my sets are, you know, because the swim that I'm doing is 400 meters, I think 400 meters or yards or whatever. And so that's the distance for a sprint triathlon. And like, so I do that in training, and you know, it's not like it's like super easy. It takes like, it's crazy because like it only takes like 8 minutes. And so for me, I'm like, okay, I've never done that distance in open water. I think we'll be practicing that when I get to Texas, you know? And so I don't know, will it take a little bit longer? Most likely. So like say it takes, even if you double it, that's 16 minutes, and then the bike is 16 miles. So that would probably take me around 40 minutes, you know, and the run is a 5K, which will take me around 30, hopefully, you know, like 25 closer, 25, 26, but like, yeah, just like say around 30. So like, you know, again, it shouldn't be a super long thing, right? So, but yeah, I'm just excited, like, because like I said, I've never put so much effort in training and like I've dedicated a lot of freaking time to train for this. And like, I have completely changed how I train and the way that I train and who I train with, which means, basically means I train alone. Yeah. And so I am excited to finally see what like the fruit of my labor, I guess. Mm-hmm. But I will say that I'm definitely excited for once I do this triathlon in October, being able to shift a little bit more to like CrossFit style training, because I do miss it like a lot. Yeah. And so I think I'll do CrossFit for a little bit. I don't think I'll be done with triathlons, but like I'll be able to take a second, do some CrossFit stuff, and you know, jump back into it eventually, I think is like the goal. Because a lot of people are like, are you gonna do an Ironman or half Ironman? I think maybe. I don't know. It's hard. Yeah. It's hard for me to give an answer if I haven't even done one triathlon and I don't know how I feel about it. Totally. Because I might do the race and be like, I actually don't really like that, which is possible. Like I don't see that happening, but like it's possible. Mm-hmm. I think it'll be fun. Like I'm excited to get out on the bike and like actually race with people. But
I'd prefer to do like a Captain America or something.
Oh, you're stupid.
That's cool, dude. No, it's cool to see how hard you've been training for this and to see it come into fruition. It's not cool to see how much pet sweat ends up on the floor in the garage.
I clean it up every time.
I know, but it's still gross.
Yeah, it is a lot. It's a lot of sweat, man.
It's not gross is the wrong word. It's impressive.
No, it's not. It's annoying.
Yeah.
Like, sweating is annoying. It's not fun. Like, it doesn't mean like people see it as meaning something, but it's just like I just sweat more than other people.
Mm.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
Yeah.
I just sweat more than other people.
I was talking to someone today, coaching them. I'm like, get a good sweat in? And then she's like, actually, yeah. She's like, I don't sweat.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what? She's like, I don't sweat.
Mhm.
Like, it can be 100 degrees. I'll be outside working. I won't sweat. I'm like,
I'm so jealous of that, dude.
and then she's like, she got a little sweat in today. But
I know that's like, maybe not
healthy.
the best thing. Yeah, but
Yeah.
still, dude, it's annoying when
it's not unhealthy. It's just different.
It's annoying when you're sitting and just start sweating.
Yeah.
Like, that's what happens to me.
Yeah.
Like, I just like, oh, I'm sweating now.
yeah.
Or like, because it like ruins your clothes. If
Yeah.
you sweat, like you sweat a lot, like sweat ruins clothes.
Yeah.
So like a lot of my like workout gear, after a while, it's just like I can't wear this anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it smells really bad, and it's like the actual. I feel like the chemical makeup of it has changed.
Yeah.
From the amount of sweat that has been in it,
Yeah.
And so it's not. And then I mean, on top of that, especially with endurance training, it literally makes things harder. Like because you have to replenish that. Because like you sweating means you're losing sodium, you're losing electrolytes, you're losing water, and like eventually you will bonk or you will hit a wall and
Yeah.
you won't be able to do like there's nothing you can do about it. So that means I have to be on top of it more than other people because I have to drink more. I have to, which isn't fun. Like anyone that runs long distance, it's not fun drinking water and eating food while you're running. But like you have to do it if like that, And so it just adds another layer of like, oh, it's more difficult now because I have, So again, it's like it means that I guess my body is doing a good job at cooling itself down, which okay, but there's a lot of negatives that come from it. I think people just like to see it because it makes it look like you're a hard worker.
Yeah.
When it's like, no, I just am a sweater. Like, I work just as hard as anyone else, I'm sure. I like to think I work hard, but it's not like I don't work that much harder than anyone else, if that makes any sense. So
Yeah. You set out to do something and you do it.
yeah.
It's just the simple progress that comes from consistent action.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Consistency.
But yeah, so I think the next podcast will be going over how that went.
You think you'll get any with BPN people or?
I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I like the trip. I'm kind of like at the whim of what BPN wants to do,
Yeah.
which I mean, they're usually like really fun trips from what I've seen.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to like push anybody to do anything, and I don't plan on bringing a ton of podcast equipment with me.
Yeah.
Like I
Well,
already
come
have to
on, man.
bring. I already have to bring a ton of stuff. So
Yeah. Well, they've got the cool podcast studio. Maybe
yeah,
they
who
could-
knows? Maybe I can be like, yeah, let me throw this memory card in, and
Yeah. Yeah.
So
We'll see.
yeah, we'll see.
So then you heard that for here first, guys. The next podcast will be with the BPN people. So
Yeah, apparently. And if it's not, then there won't be a podcast.
well, we'll figure something out. All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening.
Yep.
We hope
This
that
was all over the place.
yeah,
man.
we hope you enjoy something about crazy styles, religion, triathlons,
History.
gyms,
Objectionable
history,
truth and triathlons.
and conspiracy theories.
Yeah, and the flat Earth that is real.
Mhm. Bye, guys.
Bye.